Continuing where I left off. Holodynes within the microtubules are extremely complex structures containing holographic images in liquid form. How do they remain stable? Part of their stability is the network of valence patterns that cover the surface of their container, dimmers that make up the wall of the microtubule. Part of their stability may be inherited within the structure of water itself, because water is known to maintain information and structure. But holodynes are also directly connected to hyperspatial dimensions. This is why people have visions, sense extraordinary things, and sometimes even communicate without saying anything. The key is in the microtubules within their pure and protected water environment. How does a microtubule know what cell needs to be divided? How does a map know what it needs? How to find it and how to pass it along until it gets exactly where it's needed? How does microtubule know how to cooperate with other microtubules? How to create coherence in sending neutral impulses? How to repair damage and all other things microtubules seem to know? Part of the answer lies within the microtubules. When we look inside a microtubule, we find ionic pure water. And that's, like I posted a video that I want to do on a hydroponics unit. And ionized water is sort of like live water, electric water. It has energy inside the water, and it has a lot of potential inside it. So that's what ionic pure water. The water functions as a three-dimensional information storage medium. It is much like silicone. It is used to store data on a computer chip. The process is multidimensional, nonlinear, and quantum in its dynamics. This process becomes clearer when you look at it from a holodynamic view. As information is fed in from the senses, it is processed holographically through the sensory screen. The information is transformed through a Gaborian-type process and becomes a series of quantum frequencies. These frequencies transmit the information within 1/70th of a second to an aligned or coherent set of holodynes within the water molecules of the microtubules. Since the holodynes are stored holographically within the water molecules of the microtubules, they are able to shift to accommodate any new information without destroying the information already stored within it. The water molecules are structured so that information can be stored in graphic form, much like holograms, but only much more complex. David Bohm called these moving holograms. I call them holodynes because they are not holograms. They are self-organizing, living, conscious information systems, and they have the power to cause. Everything is possible. They are far beyond anything we know as a hologram. They are actually living information systems, thus holo, meaning whole, and dynes, meaning unit of power, or holodynes. And this label describes a whole unit of cause. Holodynes are organized according to the holographic principles, so they are organized in much the same fashion as a hologram. Information is referenced according to gross-grain screens from the senses. These gross-grain screens provide reference or content bases for information. Our fine-grained screens provide new information or content. These two types of information, context and content, are referred to the wave and particle information, the study of holograms. Let me reread that part. These gross-grain screens provide reference or context based for information. Our fine-grained screens provide information or content. So, and then they are similar to what happens with holodynes. Holodynes, however, self-organize. They take on a life of their own. In order to better understand how such self-organization occurs, it is necessary to switch to a quantum perspective and look at a wave dynamics of microtubules and how the wave dynamics affects consciousness. Self-organization. From a quantum perspective, photons do not exist except as potential until they are given form. Light then can only be perceived if one's eye are adjusted to give form to the potential light. There is no light until one's gross grains and fine-grained screens are adjusted to give the light form. There is no light until light is given form. Since we all have the experience of seeing the light, something must be adjusting our screen so we can have the experience. Of all the possibilities as to where such organization could take place, the water environment of the microtubules is the most likely to succeed as the place. It is a safe environment. That is, it is protected from the outside interference. It is also a fluid environment, so it is adjustable to accommodate new input. It is also universally available in the body since it makes up the texture of the body. Every cell is made of microtubules. It also tests out positive. When you anesthetize a microtubular, all consciousness stops. So how would it work? Let us assume just for a moment that information is organized within the microtubules as holodynes. Let us assume that this information is holographic in nature. Let us assume the holodynes have the power to cause. Holodynes also resonate. They give off a resonating frequency, much like a radio or video transmitter, or like HARP. The frequency is tabbed with information like a radio or video wave, only in its quantum in nature. We know that holodynes communicate. We send out information according to how this information is organized within each holodyne. They do this according to Froelich frequencies. This frequency is called Froelich frequency because back in 1968, Froelich, I can't pronounce his name so I may get it wrong, who developed superconductivity and superfluidity, predicted that a frequency would be discovered to give quantum coherence to every body function. He predicted the frequency would be in the range of approximately 10 to the minus 33 resolutions per second. Microtubules are perfectly designed to manage this range of frequencies. Somebody else was letting me know that they've had this machine that gives off frequencies that's been curing diseases, and it was taken off by the government. The government does not want you using any of these machines. Apparently, there is some videos or something out there that shows you how to make your own, which is, anybody that's got good technology, don't go and get a patent. As soon as you get a patent, then you get the elites, these governments that want to suppress information. The medical industry would definitely crash and burn. A lot of people would be unemployed if, we didn't need as many people in the healthcare industry. So that's why they don't want this information out. Everybody would be unemployed. But it is a new form of employment that, those on the bottom that kind of need healthcare that aren't really getting it, because we see that anybody that's working isn't really designed to actually heal anything. It's just a process for them to get rich. Meanwhile, if you want to live, you might want to know how to heal yourself. So my advice is heal yourself, learn how to heal yourself, and then help heal somebody else out. And it could be a new income. This is the new healthcare system. You don't need a medical 7 years in school to understand how to cure disease. It's being aware of behaviors. There's a lot of things, but just the study of this science, you can heal just about anything. And it should be in demand, because a lot of people are going to need healing. But also take into account, a lot of people can't afford this. So offer it free whenever you see the need for it, which is what I do. The mass for each microtubule can be seen to grow at exactly the overlapping of each chord of the frequency, like a guitar player holds its fingers on a certain place when he wants a certain note. As in the following diagram adapted from the ORCH 4 paper, 1988. Quantum coherence, interfrequency, holodyne. Okay, there's the picture. It's hard getting these things up there so that you can see it, but there's the text that you can match up. with the diagram. Okay, and pause that and see it. Check it out for yourself. When we are taking into account that particles are spinning vortexes of information, vortexes are part of the particle wave processing of information within our microtubules, then among the water molecules, they can dance in such a way as to form holographic images from the water molecules. The result is holodynes. So it's like all you are is spinning pieces of information that spin to a certain frequency that it forms a shape, and that shape is your skin cell that you see. But if those information stopped, it would stop holding everything together. In this safe environment, holodynes can self-organize into conscious entities. They are held in place by the valence charged dimmer molecules of the microtubules and various maps. These make up the neural networks and organs of the body, including the fine-grained and gross-grained screens that spread over each of our senses. This is how the body maintains coherence. Now, just a thought that came up while I'm reading all of this. They're saying that if you anesthetize, that all function consciousness stops. The spinning of information never ever stops, even with being anesthetized, because then you would just disappear. Your cells, everything would just, stop the spinning. The spinning is what holds the shape of it, so that would all go. So the DNA that's in each cell never ever dies. That spinning is always there. That's why when you lose a skin cell and it goes off into the air and dust, then that's part of your DNA, and that DNA is spinning pieces of information. A rock has spinning pieces of information. Everything is spinning, whether it's solid or whatever. Okay. In this safe environment, holodynes can self-organize into conscious entities. They are held in place by valence-charged dimmer molecules of microtubules and various maps. These make up the neural networks of the organs in the body, including fine-grained and gross-grained screens, and spread over each of our senses. This is how the body maintains coherence. In this same manner, the quantum frequencies from the microtubules tie us to the collective consciousness. We are like the internet. Because the vortex extends beyond our direct perceptions, bodies of matter can act on each other at a distance. David Ash, 1993, page 69. There's a few experiments that tell you how you can communicate with another body from distances away. It's pretty interesting, and there's experiments that prove this. To the best of our knowledge, everything in the universe is part of a cooperative harmonic. This alignment is so strong that appears as though everything in the universe was made a covenant. Since everything, even photons, are conscious, it appears that every other thing in the universe has agreed that everything will look the way it does, take on the form it has, and behave according to the laws of nature. It is a covenant of all particles that they will look and act like particles. It is a covenant that all waves will look and act like waves, and that they can change places. Which means we're getting a little bit of fear of something's coming out, Nurubu, I think it is, Planet X, or you're seeing a lot of galactic changes out there. Those galactic changes have everything to do with your spinning information that's in every single one of your quantum cells. If the chaos that's what's inside us is out in the universal world, and it does affect the sun, it affects the stars. When you go and look out at the stars and try to get your horoscope that tells you who you are, that's because you're looking at your own reflection in the bigness of yourself, and it will tell you what your behaviors are, what your life patterns are, if you look up at the stars. Why? Because they're telling you who you are. Anyways, we need to change here on the planet if we want some changes out in the galactic world, which, if you want to stop solar flares, I suspect solar flares are coming out because blaring inside with anger and frustration. But if we calm down, I'm pretty sure the sun would calm down. I'll continue on another tape.